Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding. The date and time right now is 22nd May 2020. Time right now is 5:10 in the evening. Now, I'm pretty sure you must have read the article, that is the CNBC article. 70% of Dubai companies expected to go out of business within the first 6 months due to the coronavirus pandemic, survey says. Now, this article came out yesterday, 21st May, and even though I read it, I decided not to comment on it because I didn't just want to read this article and give you my thoughts and views. Anyone can do that. You read one sentence, you just give your thoughts, and you give your opinion. So what I decided was, after this article came out, I wanted to speak to somebody who was more knowledgeable than me, much more intelligent, someone who could give me a perspective. So through my contacts, I spoke to this gentleman who is in touch with Raghuram, who is, the big guy who deals with, the World Bank and all that. Let me just type it out. What give you his exact credentials. Raghuram Rajan, who is an Indian economist. So this guy is like right up there. Okay, he's a big guy. I mean, it's very educated. He is really studied a lot. He knows economics, and so I'm not going to pretend that I know everything. I'm still learning. I'm a guy, you know this. I'm a school dropout. I'm self-educated. Whatever I know is what I have read and thought myself. So I'm not a very intelligent guy. I'm not a very smart guy. I'm not someone who knows everything. I have thought myself. So it's no shame in me telling you that I don't know. The fact is, I'm still learning. So I always speak to people, and that's how I've learned. I've always spoken to people who know more than me and taken their advice and guidance. And how I got all this wisdom over the years is I spoke to people. My mentors were like Mohammad Murad, who's the ex-head of Dubai Police, who is local Emirati. He was my mentor. I still consider him like my mentor. I've known him for 23 years. Gabriel D'Souza, who works for Quick Electric, he was my mentor for 5 to 6 years. He is a CEO. So I've had mentors who have been far beyond my capacity. They have really had experience in life. So they guided me into a form of thinking, which I have today. So now, even in terms of economy, I wanted to understand what was happening. And I didn't want to just give you my opinion just blindly. So what I did was I waited for this guy to be free. And today he got free. And I said, can I speak to you? I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions. So we sat and we spoke about this article. Is this article all hype? Is this real? What is going to happen? How is the impact going to impact you and me? So I'll give you my thoughts. I've written down on my, you can see on my screen here, I've written down what I'm supposed to say. Okay. So I will share with you whatever I think. You decide, you let me know whether what I'm saying is true or false. Okay. So I'll read out the article and then I'll give you my thoughts with the notes at the side. Okay. Now, what it says here is 70% of Dubai companies expect to go out of business within the first few months due to the coronavirus pandemic, survey says. Okay, first and foremost, which I want you to understand is this is a consumer sentiment. This is not an actual, this is confirmed, it's happening. This is study based on the data that they have. And this is not a CNBC giving you gloom and doom. This was given by the Chamber of Commerce, by the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. So it's very authentic data given by the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. However, this is a consumer survey, okay? Survey based on what people feel and what they are about to do, okay? It can be a lot more worse than what they have said, or it can be good. Like, for example, they have said 70% of the Dubai companies are expected to go out of business. So maybe you can have only 40%, or maybe only 30%, or you can have 80%, you can have 90%, okay? So it's not specific numbers, all right? Now, the key points of this article, what it says is almost half the restaurants and hotels surveyed by the Dubai Chamber expected to go out of business in the next month alone, with 3/4 of travel and tourism companies expecting to close in this time. So, the first point, half the restaurants and hotels surveyed by Dubai Chamber of Commerce expect to go out of business. Now, I know that nobody is traveling. Even if you travel, I mean, it's just emergency. There are no tourists coming in. There's nobody, like, for example, let me ask you, are you going out to restaurants to eat like before? Are you spending money like before? Are you enjoying with your friends like before? Like, even, in my previous video, which I said, now people, even if they want to go to a pub, they ask themselves, why the fuck am I going to a pub when I can have the same beverage here in the house? It's 40% less or 50% less, and I'm drinking in my house, and I'm having, maybe my friends will come over, and I'm not buying booze for women. I'm not buying booze for other people for free. It's here in my house. People are bringing their own booze, and we are getting more booze, and we are enjoying, So why should I go to a pub? Why should I spend money outside? Yes, there are some people who are going outside. I'm not saying everyone's at home, but the majority are asking, why should I go out? Why? Because today business has been impacted. People have been given lesser salaries. Many people have not been paid salaries. Many people are unemployed. So because of this, nobody is in a party kind of a mood. There are very few people who are doing that, and those are the exceptions to the rule which are being showed in the media. Like Daily Mail Online gave this news article about these British tourists who were in Queen or something, and they were enjoying in a pool, not maintaining social distance. Those are very rare. Even in Thailand, here in Samui, you have some people enjoying a party, but immediately the police comes, they get arrested, and most probably they are going to be in a lot of trouble. So let's not focus about all of them. I'm asking you, are you in a party mood? Are you going to go out and drink with your friends and spend money and be like before? Are you going to do that? So the fact is, you and me, normal people, we are not going to do that. I can assure you this, 100% of all the people who are watching my video, you're not going to go out. You're not going to spend money on useless things. You're actually concerned and worried about what is going to happen next. Okay? So when nobody is going to spend money, not even the people who are staying there, when nobody wants to go outside, nobody wants to eat outside, and nobody's in that mood, okay? How can a hotel survive? How can a restaurant survive? See, a restaurant, many people think that a restaurant is a very easy money business. It is not. There are so many intricacies involved in running a business, which I don't want to get into, but speak to your friends who are running a hotel business. You will clearly find out that it's very difficult to run a restaurant, and you only make money when it's full house. But when it's empty and nobody is there, you have to pay water, electricity, staff, overheads. So this part, I agree that most of the restaurants and hotels surveyed are expected to go out of business. Why? Because when Dubai announced that, okay, restaurants can open, this article was there in Arabian Business, 100,000 hoteliers, hotel owners and restaurant owners, they wrote a petition to the Dubai government saying, listen, we don't want to open, because even if you open, who's going to come? Nobody is going to come. And you can't run the whole day having just one patron or 2-3 people. Imagine some places where they used to make like 10,000, 20,000 or whatever. They're just making 100, 200. How can you survive? Okay. So the first part is right. The second part is the Dubai Chamber of Commerce in late April surveyed 1,228 CEOs across a range of sectors during the city's strictest lockdown period. Here's another thing for you to think about. I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theories, but in 2019, you can Google search, I think in November onwards, more than 1,000 CEOs resigned and decided to take either retirement or in cash on their, gratuity or whatever. That itself is a big mystery. Why did it happen? Because I remember reading that article, watching that video. Why are all these guys resigning? There's something happening. These guys have access to some information that we lay people do not have. Okay, then it says Dubai United Arab Emirates, a staggering 70% of the businesses in Dubai expect to close their doors within the next 6 months as the coronavirus pandemic and global lockdown ravage demand. A survey by the Dubai Chamber of Commerce revealed on Thursday, which is true. Nobody is spending money, nobody is buying, nobody wants to go out. People are just, thinking, okay, I need to save this money, keep my savings, buy only what is necessary. Okay. The chamber surveyed 1,228 CEOs across a range of sectors between April 16th and April 22nd during the Emirates' strictest lockdown period. Nearly 3/4 of those surveyed were small businesses with fewer more than 20 employees. And by the way, I'm going to share with you some real shocking bits towards in between, which will absolutely blow your mind, which I'll tell you later. Okay. So, nearly 3/4 of those surveyed were small businesses with fewer than 20 employees. Of the respondents, more than 2/3 saw a moderate to high risk going out of business in the coming 6 months. So this is more of a speculation, which I told you before. It is a consumer sentiment. Then 27% said they expected to lose their business within the next month, and 43% said to go out of business within 6. So the fact of the matter is, why they are telling you that they are going to lose business is because there's no customers, there's no tourism, there's nothing happening. Dubai, which has the most diversified and non-oil dependent economies in the Gulf, relies on sectors like hospitality, tourism, entertainment, logistics, property, and retail. Okay. So Dubai actually depends on the flow of money coming in. When people bring in money, whether it's white money or black money, or whether it is, not declared or whatever, that's how it runs. Why do you think, you had all these, like, don't take my word, just Google search, Dawood Ibrahim, all these smugglers, all these underworld guys, all these people who are wanted or banned in many other countries, how are they coming down? In fact, just Google search this cryptocurrency queen who cheated the world of $15 billion. Okay, 15 billion. She is alleged to be in Dubai. Okay. Now, why do these people come in Dubai? Because UAE is a safe haven where you can bring illegal money, come to the country, as long as you're not doing anything wrong, as long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not harming anyone, as long as you're not breaking any laws. You bring in your money, you set up a legal business and cash flow, fine. You can come in. So Dubai always attracted those kind of people. And this was good for the country. It was good for everyone because there was a cash flow. But today, because nobody can travel, hardly anyone can travel, because the property market has crashed so badly, because the oil prices, think about it. When in history, till date, did you know oil prices reaching zero? People predicted $10. Did you ever think that oil prices would be zero? I'm asking you, did you ever think? Did you ever think that property prices would keep declining? Here's my challenge. Google search 2015, where the property prices were maybe still okay. From 2015, December, until today, the property prices have only declined. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. From 2015, the property prices until today have only declined. They have never gone up. Okay. Then you have investors. They were all hoping for Expo 2020 to go in a big way. I had made a prediction around 4 years ago, something, that Expo 2020 is going to be a total utter failure. People said no. Now, agreed, it got cancelled because of this virus. But here's my question to you. Do you seriously think, with what has happened right now, Expo 2020 is going to be a success? Who wants to come to Expo? Who wants to put in the money? Who wants to invest? Okay. Now, travel and tourism. People, when they come into the country, they stay in a hotel, they'll go out for shopping, they will spend money. Now, there is no tourists. And in fact, in Dubai, what is there? You'll go to the shopping mall, you'll go to the mosque in Abu Dhabi, you'll go to Ferrari World, you'll go see the desert, you'll see the camels. Tell me, what other wonders there? Okay, you'll see Burj Khalifa, you'll see the largest shopping mall. Tell me, what else is there to see in UAE? What else is there? What else do you spend money on? In fact, do this. Speak to some of your friends who are in Ireland, in UK, in US, and ask them, what do you think about Dubai? Do you, is it good publicity or is it bad publicity? Okay. So what is happening is, because of this, hardly anyone is coming there. Property prices are bad. Oil prices are bad. People are afraid to put in the money because they are afraid there might be a war. In fact, in the history of US relationship with Saudi, have you ever heard of US pulling out its troops? In fact, go right now to UK travel warning or US travel warning, and just see UAE. UAE has been put as an area where citizens are asked, don't stay in the country. US has withdrawn its troops. US could not protect Aramco. US is withdrawing its, political, its ambassadors and all these people, governors, whoever is there. US has given a warning to its citizens, you better, go out. So when you have even warships, even airplanes, they are saying, don't be there in the Middle East. Don't be there in Saudi. Don't be there in UAE. So when this is happening, do you think people feel secure being there? Okay. Now, next one, what it says is some 74% of travel and tourism companies said they expect to close at this time. Okay. I've told you, no, if there's no traveling, there is no tour companies, there is no travel agencies, there is no entertainment companies. None of them will be making money. And then hotels don't make any money. And then the people who supply to their hotels don't make any money. And then people who are selling items don't make any money. Okay. And 30% of the companies in transport, storage, communication expect the same fate. So it's like a domino effect. Full and partial lockdown of the city measures are bringing demand in key areas. The double shock impact is pushing the economic activity to levels never seen before. The Dubai Chamber wrote in its report released on Thursday, Impact of COVID-19 on the Dubai business community. A Dubai Chamber spokesperson later on Thursday qualified some of the survey's results, saying that in a statement, Dubai Chamber surveyed 1,228 out of 245,000 companies in Dubai in April, when the lockdown measures were in the most strict phase. Their sentiments are based on the expectation that the strictest lockdown phase would be prolonged. We anticipate that the business confidence will improve significantly in the coming weeks and months as business returns to normal operations. Business will not return to normal operations because, even if they make it normal, it's not going to be normal. Most of the countries are locked down. People are not traveling. And even if they do open, I think people are going to be more interested into, how do I pay my loans? How do I make up for the lost revenues? What do I do to secure my job? Because people are even losing their jobs. Now, the population contradiction. But amid the current uncertainty, businesses in UAE's 7 Emirates and elsewhere across the world are slashing salaries, putting employees on unpaid leave and reducing staff, which is very self-explanatory. The UAE has 26,000 confirmed coronavirus cases with 233 deaths as of Thursday. Dubai, the country's commercial and tourism hub, imposed a strict 24-hour lockdown on its population of 3.3 million for 3 weeks beginning in early April. Okay. While the lockdown has been loosened through the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, allowing malls and some business to open at 30% capacity, demand is so slow to return that company layoffs are continuing. Most hotels sit empty and tourism is non-existent. There have been no inbound passenger flights for UAE, non-UAE nationals since March 24th. For a country that relies on 80% expatriate population for much of its economic activity, the stakes are even higher. If residents can no longer find work, they will return to their home countries, depleting the consumer base needed to enable the economic recovery. More than 150,000 Indian nationals and 40,000 Pakistani nationals have already left or registered to leave in UAE by early May, according to those diplomatic missions. Now, here let me give you something to think about. Have you thought about the fact why Dubai? Okay, why MBZ? You saw the video where he's thanking all the nurses, thank you, and he's talking to the nurses, and they're making it like a very positive news. Okay, I'll get to that. In fact, have you seen planes filled with Indian doctors and Indian nurses are coming from India? Here's my question to you. Where are all the nurses and doctors based in UAE? Why there are no nurses and doctors in UAE? There are none. Why do they have to get from India? Because all the doctors and all the nurses, they don't want to work. They don't want to work in a country where salaries are not paid on time. They don't want to work in a country where there's no future and security. That is why they have to go get people from India. And nobody is coming here for the love of the nation. UAE doesn't offer any citizenship. UAE doesn't offer any future. You are a temporary worker. The day you lose your visa, bye-bye. That's the reality. Everyone knows that. So now the question is, what do you do? Would you want to stay in a country where you don't know if there's a future? In fact, right now, let me ask you right now, is your life normal? Are you earning the full salary? Are you secure with your job? Do you know what is going to happen tomorrow? I'm pretty sure that you must have had this conversation with your wife. You don't know what the hell is going to happen tomorrow. You are afraid. Everyone is afraid. Even I'm afraid. It's not that, oh, I don't feel anything. Of course, I have to keep thinking, what is going to happen? Where do I get my next customer? Where do I earn the next, sale? How do I make money? You think I've not had these discussions with my wife? Just like you, I'm a normal person. I have a small baby. I have a wife. I have a family. I have goals for today, for tomorrow, for the future. So we are very much alike. So when you are staying in a country that you can stay there as long as you have a job, as long as you have a visa, the day that is not assured, what do you do? Where do you go? And if you go back to India or go back to your country, people are not going to welcome you. They're going to say, why the hell did you come back? You're an unwanted person. You left when more money was there. Now they kicked you back like a dog and you come back. That is exactly how people will talk to you. Okay? I think so far we are looking at a minimum population contradiction of 10% for the year. I beg to differ. Here, Nasser Al-Sheikh, former Director General of Dubai Government's Department of Finance, tweeted earlier this month, it'll not be 10%, it'll be much more than that, because when you don't have business, when you don't have jobs, when the economy is not running, you can't stay in the country. And, unlike other countries, like in USA, if they say, okay, unemployment is 28% or 38%, in UAE or in the Middle East countries, if you don't have a job, you can't stay in the country. So there's no unemployment. You don't have a job, they'll kick you back. And now this is where the problem takes place. Imagine you purchased a building or a property. Imagine you bought something. Your money is locked in UAE. You can't encash everything and take it. They are not going to make it easy for you to take your money out. For example, try this. Try selling your car. Try selling your house. Try selling your property. Do you think you're going to get the full investment back? Do you think you're going to get the price that you're looking for? If you try to sell your car today, I can assure you this, you'll not even get maybe 40% of what you're expecting. Because nobody wants it. Nobody would spend money. They'll be like, okay, keep it. And you will be desperate to sell it because you can't stay in the country for very long. So how long? So if you have to sell something, you'll have to better put it now and hope and wait that someone gives you the cash quickly. Okay? The Dubai Chamber added it in its report. This is a temporary shock for most. This is not temporary. This is going to be for a very long time. and recover to gradually kick in as soon as restrictions are eased. Trade with GCC market is primarily challenging as they suffered double oil prices, COVID-19 shocks. Here, once again, I'll tell you, UAE has a problem with Qatar. UAE has a problem with Yemen. UAE has a problem with Syria. UAE has a problem with Libya. Okay, UAE has a problem with all these countries. How do you think, or UAE even has a problem with Iran? These countries whose names I gave you was how UAE used to make money. For example, go, in Karama and Dera, these souks that were there. Who are there? It were people from Iran, Irani shopkeepers. Today, you have Africans coming there. Now, do you seriously think that UAE wanted Africans to come there from African countries? Why are they coming there? Here's a big question. See, Iranis were there right from the early years. Now, today, because of the war, Iran's trade with UAE has diminished. Syrians were there, so many. Now they're gone. Yemeni, so many. So many UAE locals were previously Yemeni. And UAE has a problem with Yemen now. So you're killing off the very people who bought in revenue for you. How in the world do you expect to survive? In fact, let me ask you this, okay? Where is the ISIS? Have you asked yourself, where is ISIS? What happened to ISIS? What, with the COVID-19, they vanished? Did you ever ask yourself, ISIS, which was such a big terrorism, ISIS this, ISIS that, ISIS terrorism and Islamic terrorism and all that, where did the ISIS go? Because of the COVID-19, you think they vanished? Without money, without funding, there is no terrorism. Somebody didn't stop giving them money. I'll leave you to connect the dots. Who stopped paying ISIS? Who stopped funding them? You do your little bit of homework. ISIS was funded by whom? And now, when there's no funds, there's no ISIS. And all of a sudden, they just vanished. It's so funny, it's like when the economies were there, when there was money, ISIS was there. All of a sudden now, it's not because of the virus. All of a sudden, money has stopped. Sorry, I can't pay you. Why the fuck should I terrorize people? So you see, so the fact of the matter is, when you have, you try to create so many problems and you have so much of enmity with so many of your neighbors, nobody is going to come. And these were the people who are coming and spending money in UAE, coming and investing money. It was not the Europeans, it was not the Americans. Don't assume for a minute that the people who are buying were the Americans and Europeans. The people who are investing the money were the Yemeni, were the Russians, were the Iranis, were the Syrians, Lebanon. What happened to that? Lebanon gone, finished, right? So these were the people who are investing in UAE, and now it's finished. Now, in the late March of Dubai government announced a 1.5 billion dirham stimulus package aimed at enhancing liquidity and cushioning the blow of virus lockdown, which include a raft of free refunds, reductions, and reduction of utility costs. Okay, I'll get to that. Now, let's assume you don't have to pay electricity and water 1 month, 2 months. But what about month number 3? What about month number 4? In fact, do you know this? I've spoken to so many people. What they have told me is, Loy, this rent, this is bullshit. In my building, the landlord has not given me any discount. In fact, they opened up the gold souk. They said, okay, fine, you can start running the business. They have to pay the full rent. They have to pay water. They have to pay electricity. But now here's my question. Fine, you can pay water, you can pay electricity. But if there is no business, if nobody is coming and spending money, where the fuck are you going to generate the income to pay all this? Are you running a business just to pay water, electricity, or are they more expenses? Okay. And on top of that, people who have to pay you money are not able to pay. You have to take, let's say, material. They will ask you cash. They'll say, I don't want to give you on credit because nowadays so many bad debts happening. How do you survive? Abu Dhabi, in its same month, announced a $27 billion emergency stimulus plan to aid private sector, business, and banks. UAE, Dubai has not paid 21 billion that it borrowed. You can just do your research and find out, did UAE pay? Dubai, it did not pay. Now, this 27 billion that they put, where are they getting this money from? I want you to ask yourself. In case you do not know, here's one thing which I wrote down in terms of my notes. Have you noticed that Philippines, you have Philippines, you have Thailand, you have Singapore, you have London, you have all these countries. How come they are not like India, Nigeria, London, Philippines, Thailand, Singapore? Why are these countries not borrowing? Have you noticed they are not borrowing anywhere? They are not issuing dollar bonds. The only countries that are issuing dollar bonds is Saudi and UAE. Why is that? In fact, Abu Dhabi, I think, issued a dollar bond. Now, why they are doing that? Because they don't have the money. So when you don't have the money, how are you going to pay the salaries? How are you going to pay the expenses? How are you going to pay anyone? And here's a bigger thing. Dubai already borrowed before. It has not paid. Now it's borrowing the second time. How many times can you keep borrowing and not paying back? I want you to think, you as a person, if you are going to borrow and you keep borrowing and you don't pay it back, one day you have to declare bankruptcy, right? Okay, you remember this one, the Falcon Tower? What happened to the Falcon Tower project? What happened to the Bawardi project? You remember they're going to have the Taj Mahal, they're going to have the Eiffel Tower. What happened to the world islands? What happened to all of them? Have you ever asked? They took the initial investment and now work has stopped. I want you to check with people who have invested there, check with them. The initial money that they put, project is not completed. Did they get the money back? Check how many expatriates got their money back. Okay. See, this is the problem with UAE. In fact, the frame, Dubai frame, Google search, the person who designed Dubai frame has actually tried to sue UAE, Dubai, because he says his idea was stolen. This is the problem with UAE. UAE, you invest any business, you start up any business, there is no more protection. You do not know when your business is going to be taken away from you. You don't know when you lose everything. In fact, let me give you a very simple thing. What happened to Joy Arakal? What happened to him? Okay. What happened to Shetty? Okay. You read in the news, right? Lulu sold its shares for 20% or whatever to the Dubai ruler or whatever, UAE ruler. Okay. Let me just ask you a question here. You seriously think an expat who is living in a king's country, in a king's land, will make the king pay him money? Okay. Anyway, I'll leave that thought to you. In fact, I just want you to Google search Sunny Varki, our own English high school. Okay. What's happening to GEMS Group? I want you to Google search what are the challenges that IHS, Indian High School, is going through. I want you to Google search Al Haptur opened up 4 hotels, Regis, I don't know the other names. What happened to them? Have you noticed Al Futtaim is not in the news lately for any big announcements? In fact, what happened to Sunset Mall? What happened to Lamsey Plaza? You know, this Aldo, Debenhams, and Tim Hortons, Starbucks in UAE. Do you think they're making money? Okay. Landmark Group. Remember Landmark, great visionary, big, this, that. They were talking all the great visionary stuff. What happened to Landmark Group? See, the problem is in UAE, I don't know if it is only in UAE. My experience is limited to that of UAE. So I can only speak for UAE. I don't know about Saudi. I don't know about Kuwait. I don't know about Bahrain. Okay. The problem in UAE is, number one, you're not a citizen, so you don't have the rights. Number two, you can't take the local Emirati to court. You can't take the big powers to court. If you invest your money, I mean, who do you sue? What laws? Is there any bankruptcy law? In fact, they're talking about what is a bankruptcy law in UAE? How many times laws have changed in UAE? So, my previous video that I made in the morning, I just, every day I speak to some businessman or another who says that, I supplied to the UAE government or I did this project. They didn't pay me, but now I have to pay suppliers and they are taking me to court. I can't take the Dubai government to court. Now I'm stuck. They have not paid me and I have to pay them. Oh, what do you do? So when you're staying in a country where you don't have any protection, where you can lose your entire business, where there's no protection for what you have created for so many years, do you seriously think that you'd want to start a business there? You don't, like, if I ask you right now, hey man, listen, give me 10 million and we'll invest it in Africa. But there's a chance that you might lose everything. Are you going to really invest your money there? Are you going to invest your life savings? This is the problem in UAE. I give you the names: the Bavardi project, the Falcon project, the Tower, the Dubai World. And what happened to all those projects? They made a big announcement. People paid the 1% or 10% or whatever. Now the projects are put on hold. Do you think these people got their millions back? Just do your little bit of research and find out whether they are going to get their money back. This is the problem in UAE. When you have this, that there is no guarantee, there's no protection for your hard-earned money, people are like, why the fuck should I invest here? If you get arrested, everything that you invested in is gone. In fact, let me ask you this. Many times UAE municipality conducts a raid and all these fake perfumes and fake belts and fake products, they're all taken. Okay. Here's my question to you. Where do you think it is taken? Do you think they burn it? Have you seen any video where they show you all the perfume bottles, all the leather products, they burn it? No, it is not burnt. It is not destroyed. They take all this duplicate stuff and it's kept in the Jebel Ali port. Okay, it's kept over there in the free zone, sorry. It's kept there. And then what do they do is, have you seen these big sale, 80% off, 90% off on brands? From where these products are coming? Have you ever asked yourself, in Jitex, I told you this, I worked in Jitex, all those products which are selling there, you think they are originals? You think that they are selling original at 80% off? Come on, man. Which country in the world sells an original brand at 80%? It's all those duplicate stuff that they are raiding. They're taking and keeping them in the free zone or they're keeping in the ports. And then the same product is being sold to you and you're buying it. So, in fact, let me ask you this. You've seen, right? Pierre Cardin, 80% off, 90% off. You seriously think that it's 80 and 90% off? In fact, those who have lived in UAE, do you know that, I'm telling you this, from the age of, I think, 16, I have seen Pierre Cardin in Sharjah near Alhambra Cinema, I think, Alhambra Cinema, that area. Pierre Cardin was at, I hope I got that right, Alhambra Cinema. Pierre Cardin was at 90% off clearance sale. It was called clearance sale. I was 20 years or 16 years that time. Until I left UAE at the age of 36, 40, until the age of nearly 39. So from the age of 20 till 39, so nearly 19 years, Pierre Cardin was doing clearance sale. Just let that sink into you. 90% off, 70% off, 80% off. See, there are no laws. Anyone can just fart and say anything and, you can just get away with it. Then economic already slowing pre-COVID. The coronavirus crisis follows a number of years of declining revenues for some of the Emirates' most important sectors, primarily real estate and hospitality. Real estate and hospitality, I told you, it's completely over. Don't expect any miracle over there. Okay. Residential property prices have fallen 30% from their peak in 2014. What rubbish. From 2014, it's only declining. I think it's nearly 70% or 80% it has lost its value. Amid oversupply and weakening demand, and the revenue per available hotel room is down more than 25% since 2015. Revenue is totally decimated. They're talking rubbish, 25%. It's nearly 80 or 90%. There's hardly any business hotels are getting. In fact, you remember the Jumeirah hotel that has been shut down? Why do you think it has been shut down? I found out it's because of the virus contamination. All these employees who are staying in the residence, they are all infected. Everyone's infected, and they just couldn't hide it anymore. I mean, you're infected, everyone else is infected. You're going to infect the guests. That also rich people's, big shots. So that is why they shut it down. But they obviously cannot mention this in the papers. Last year, Dubai's economy grew at 1.94%, the slowest since the dark days of its near collapse in 2009. That crisis more than 10 years ago sparked a property crunch that forced Dubai to seek a $20 billion bailout from its wealthier, more conservative neighbor, UAE capital Abu Dhabi, which has not been paid. Okay? But the global pandemic will likely exact a toll from Dubai far greater than the downturn a decade ago. The Chamber report warned the impact of COVID-19 crisis on the world economy during 2020 is projected to be greater than the 2008-2009 financial crisis. Okay. So, see, as of now, I've given you all the bits and pieces. The few extra points that I do want to give you is, when the Burj Khalifa was launched, it started off at 2,400 to 3,000 per square feet. It went up to 14,000 per square feet at its peak. Today, it's 1,400 per square feet. So it has lost 90% of its value. Okay. Even that investor, that Sunny guy, whatever his name, Malayali guy, who had 22 rooms, who they said was a big visionary in Kerala. I spoke to one of his relatives. He has lost everything. See, another big guy. Then I told you, Dubai's only source of income was oil and Middle East people, not foreigners. But now most of them cannot come there. Today, the people who are there are normally these people with money that they don't want to declare, that they don't want it taxed. It's black money. So they were coming in. Now, as of now, Dubai, UAE has plenty of enemies because it teamed up with Saudi. Qatar gave $15 billion to Turkey. That has just in the newspaper, I think yesterday or before that. Lebanon has defaulted in its bonds. The Saudi and UAE, before they used to help Lebanon, but now they cannot help Lebanon because they don't have any money. Before you had Pakistan that used to go to UAE. You remember those early days of 70s and 80s where Pakistan used to keep coming to UAE and UAE used to keep going to Pakistan and Pakistan used to keep going to US. Now, where do you think Pakistan is going to? Pakistan is going to China because nobody else wants to give it money. You have Saudi that has stopped paying money to Pakistan. They promised all the billions and all that. Did it go through? Have you checked? Then you have, you have all these big business people. Just check the olden days, all the big business houses. What happened to all of them? How many of them are a fraction of what their previous glory was? You have UAE that has banned Iran, Yemen, Syria, and Libya. For them, they can't come in, and some of them don't even get visas. Okay. I spoke to you about the Falcon Tower. I spoke to you about the Bawardi project. I spoke to you about the islands. They've taken the money, their down payment or whatever, and now work has totally stopped. Okay. You have Saudi and Abu Dhabi issued dollar bonds, but India, Nigeria, London, Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, none of them are borrowing. Why? Because UAE doesn't have any money. Even Saudi has spread itself too thin. You also have salary deductions, which I'll speak to you later. In fact, did you see this video? Sheikh Mohammed spoke in English. Abu Dhabi and Dubai is one, and we are one together. Why did he say that? Because now he's under tremendous pressure. Abu Dhabi purchased hotels from Dubai. They purchased before the COVID-19 crisis. And now the CEO of Abu Dhabi Hotels is in deep trouble because the value of Dubai hotels is nothing. So they signed the dotted line when the price was much more higher. By the way, Yesterday, the first flight of Etihad landed in Israel, the first ever flight. And Palestinians, today's Al Jazeera paper reported the Palestinian Authority has said, we don't want your charity because you landed in Israel. See, UAE, they say Muslims and Israel is anti-Muslim and all that, but we know the technology, the spyware technology. Just Google search. Spyware technology is from where? It's from Israel. UAE and Israel are together. I'm not saying that is bad. They need to make peace. Yes, peace is required. But then stop acting like, oh, you're against Palestinian and all that. This is all bullshit, man. Money talks. Nobody gives a fuck about you're against Islam, you're against Muslims, you're against this, you're against that. Donald Trump spoke against Muslims. Where do you think Saudi has a problem with that? You think UAE has a problem with that? No, fuck no. It's money and power. See, interest rates, Citibank, Mashreq, all the big banks borrow from the central bank, okay? Their interest rates are zero. But if you try to borrow, you have to pay interest. Then you have banks in Europe. If you put your money, let's say you put 10,000, you'll get 9,000 back. Negative interest rates. Why? Because they know that you can't keep the cash at home, so you have no other choice. Germany, Denmark, Switzerland, the interest rates are negative, which has never happened. Now, property prices, I want you to Google search. From 2015 onwards, the property prices in UAE are only declining. So whomsoever is invested in property, your money is gone. Okay? You will lose at least 80%. Warren Buffett has issued bonds at 0%. You know, that's pretty surprising. Oil has never been so low. Middle East, you know, they survived on oil. You remember the days where a price per barrel was 150. They were projecting it to go to 200 or whatever per barrel. What is the price of a barrel? Now, today, the price of barrel, you know, people predicted it would go to $10. It has gone to almost zero. So now they are drilling oil because they can't stop. And they're just storing it and nobody wants to buy it. In fact, it seems that they have to pay people to take the oil now. There has been no tourism. There has been no buyers. There's been no investors. The buyers who are buying stuff in UAE, now, you know, if nobody's traveling, nobody's going to buy. And if nobody's going to buy, there's no cash in the economy. By the way, this might surprise you. A Grenada passport costs around 400,000 US dollars. You get the passport for 200,000 US dollars, and you buy property for another 200,000 with the other paperwork. Grenada has an agreement with the US. You know, it's that Saint Kitts and all that, those small nations, that if anyone has their passport, they can live in the USA, but they cannot get citizenship. Where do you think most of the Arabs are, what they're doing? They're taking dual citizenship, or they're taking a second passport, or they are deciding, what's the use of having this passport, this Arab passport, where I can't do anything? Might as well use it. So this is what most of the people are doing. I spoke to you about the Indian doctors and nurses who now, UAE is welcoming them, with a flag and all that bullshit. And where are your doctors? Where are all the doctors who are there in the country? Nobody's there. And they are making this big announcement that we're giving the 10-year visa and all that. Who the fuck cares about that visa, man? Okay, then you have airports are closed, tourism is zero, business is zero, trade is blocked. See, countries like Bangkok, Singapore, London, they can survive, okay? Because they have stability, at least they have stability. Dubai is, if your business shuts down or you don't have a job, get out. You can't stay there. So Dubai is having a big problem. In fact, the power of China has really become very strong. When Australia tried to flex, that human rights issue and attack China, what did China say? We will shut down all your trade with us. Australia is going to get fucked. In fact, China openly insulted Australia by saying, you're the kangaroo of Australia. You're the kangaroo of America. Well, how do you think Australia reacted? No, nothing. They were very polite. No, we will talk this out. We will sort this out. Because China doesn't need Australia. And if China says no to Australia, Australia is fucked. Then you have, read the article by Raghuram, who spoke of India's macro economy crisis. I also spoke to you about Debenhams, Aldo, Tim Hortons. I spoke to you about Sunset Mall and Lamsey Mall. Landmark Group, it seems to be in major trouble. Landmark Group, you have Joy Oracle, you know what happened to him. Lulu, I don't have to say it. You know what is the rumors going on. Shetty, what happened? You know what happened. Our own English High School and GEMS having massive problems. Indian High School having problems. Al Abtur is having problems. Al Futtaim is having problems. You even have this IBPC, that is the Indian Business Professional Council, that's having problem. You have, so many things happening even within the royal family. You had the Sharjah ruler's son who died. You had the Fujairah royal member of the family who ran away to Qatar. I'm giving you news links. I'll just Google search. You had MBS and MBZ. Here's a good question for you. Mohammed bin Salman and Mohammed bin Zayed. Have you seen them go to United States, or have you seen them fly down to the UK? Sheikh Mohammed, did he go to the UK? Ask yourself why. Why Mohammed bin Salman is not going to the US? Ask yourself why America has pulled out its ships, diplomats, has pulled out its flights, has given openly a travel warning in its website. UK, Canada, USA, it's an alert not to fly or be in UAE. They have pulled out their destroyers. They have pulled out people from the military bases. Last week, there was on Twitter that I put up, there was an assassination attempt. See, all this, what is happening is a sign of a very troubled time. Saudi has cut 40% salaries. Yemen has cut down 23%. UAE is also cutting down on the perks and benefits. So now the question is, what do you think is going to happen next? That is a very big question. What do you think is going to happen next? This is my gut feeling. Okay, this is my opinion. I feel that UAE is going to go back from where it was, like this camel to Cadillac to whatever. It's going to come back to camel. Okay, by that, what do I mean is UAE is going to reach its balance. To give you the best example, the best analogy is, think a person goes to the gym. He starts getting a good physique. And then he feels, oh, I'm getting the big muscles. Okay, I'll take supplements. He grows even bigger. Then he says, oh, I'm getting better. I want to grow even bigger. Then he starts taking, steroids. He starts getting bigger. He says, wow, I'm getting really big. Let me take double, triple, just keep growing with the steroids. He takes all the steroids. He goes really big until one day his body becomes so big that his organs cannot handle it. And that is where when his organs start to fail, he knows, shish, I'm going to die. I need to stop taking the steroids. He stops taking the steroids because his health is failing. He comes back to there are two options. Either he reaches back to how he started, or he's dying. Now, if he's dying, he grows old, his organs fail, he'll just be a living shell of what he was, and eventually he'll die off. Or he'll be like how he was when he started off, back to zero. Like, for example, me. When I started off, I was at 50 kilos. I took, supplements, and I took steroids. I went up to 125 kilos. Eventually, my body couldn't handle it. My joints were completely destroyed. My organs couldn't handle it. I stopped taking the steroids. I put on a lot of weight. Then, I went for the bariatric surgery. And today I'm at, 80 kilos. So I've come back to a former shell of what I am. Today I just maintain. I feel UAE will be just the same. It'll just maintain itself because it can't continue anymore. Okay? Yes, as per the report, 70% of business will shut down. But people will do their best to fight to survive. Because many people, they know if they go back to India, there's nothing. And most of the countries are not going to welcome people with no money. So people who are there in UAE will struggle to survive. It's not going to be easy. They will struggle to survive. I told you the trend, what I see is Before they would employ any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Today they'll only employ the best. They will pay good money, but they'll keep the best because they will know that the best will not want to be there in UAE. They don't want to be there. If you don't offer me a good salary, why the fuck am I in this country if I'm not making money? That is the question everyone's asking. Why the fuck am I here if I'm not making money? So they will want to make money. So only if companies pay them good money, then they will work. Others, they'll say, sorry, it's no point working for you. I have anyway to sign a 3-year contract with you. I'll be like a slave. You might as well pay me good money or I don't want to be. So that's how it's going to be. So companies are going to pay much better salaries than before, but they'll only keep the best. The rest of the people, it's going to be survival of the fittest. Like today, you have that news article in Gulf News where one man, he was eating a dog that was killed on the road. A car ran over him. He was eating the flesh of the dog because how else will he survive? So it's going to be survival of the fittest. Companies are going to pay more salaries, but they'll have fewer people, but really the best of the best. However, you're going to see a massive number of people without jobs, massive number of businesses closing down, and the market correction will take place. I would just say that don't be paranoid, but be afraid because it's going to be the survival of the fittest. And if you do not have the skills or the way to survive, you're going to see the worst days. And it has not yet peaked. Neither the virus has peaked, nor the bad days have peaked. Nothing. So this is what I would say, that this is my analysis after speaking to that guy. Yes, I do see tough times ahead, and nothing is going to be the same what it was. So this is my analysis. Let me know what you think. I love to hear your thoughts. And this is me signing off. All right. You guys take care. I read your comments. Put them down below. This is me signing off.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.